Most bizarre claims found inside of the Epstein files, shall we? Now, some of these are verified or speculation, some of them are not true, but we're going to go over them anyway. And let's start with probably the most, I think, bizarre of the entire thing, and that is accusations of eating humans. This one here, this accusation is that this is graphic, and you just if you got a weak stomach, but this is claiming that Bush Senior and Junior, I believe, raped African American males, and that there were individuals then eating feces from human intestines, and there was some like ritualistic sacrifices going on. Okay, told you this was going to be bizarre. Okay, this is what the email says. Subject: interview a purported Epstein victim. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim while on this yacht he witnessed. So this is a victim, a purported victim, talking to law enforcement, saying African American males have, so he witnessed this, African American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar, but left no scarring. I don't know if I'm saying that right. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. He was also raped by George Bush the senior. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. So I think that's a different Michael Moore than maybe the one we're thinking of. Moore has a criminal record as a result of an FBI investigation. Let me know if you want to discuss the former FBI agent that called this into the head office. Thanks. And then it says, I didn't realize Bush raped him too. And the response was, he has more to tell us too, he said. So,
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor as due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel broad, lifting up the stern of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is some sick shit, man. Okay, and we told you that these Edomites, these pedophiles, these devils, was into all types of sorcery, black magic, witchcraft, sacrifices, blood magic, whatever you want to name it. So the fact that this is coming out as a blackmail, and I speculated that, they are blackmailing Trump because they want him to kick off the war in Iran, which, he's so reluctant to do. Though he's talking big game, he knows that going into Iran means World War III and the end of the West and the conflict with Russia. And he doesn't want to deal with that because through the spirit, they know that would be the end of America. But nonetheless, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is unleashing the fowls on these devils because the Lord said that the Most High was going to make Esau bare before he brings him down. Now you got all this J.E. files coming out, this Epstein files, and I say it that way, that's all coming out, which is no surprise to us. Okay, we've been telling you that the elites have been grabbing up women and children and raping little boys and going up in boys anally and the piece of GATE. We've been speaking on these things for years, man. And everybody called us crazy. They called us conspiracy nuts. They said we was fear-mongering. But all of a sudden, now all the information comes out by the DOJ, which they redacted a lot of information from the dockets, from the files. And then they erased it. But somehow, some way, they was able to retrieve a lot of these documents, and the perpetrators were redacted out of these files. But they got 3 million pages of files, 20-some thousand videos, 100-some recordings on this stuff. You got 3 million files. What make you think that every celebrity that's on some type of level was not there? Okay, Nicki Minaj tweeted that your favorite artists are involved in ritualistic too, and rituals as well. Why? Because she's one of them. Okay, she was signed to that label Young Money. I believe that was Birdman's label, which signed Lil Wayne, Cash Money and all them other demons. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey, fucking Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, You know, and it's a lot of other names. Diddy, yeah, it's a lot of other names that's on this whole thing. Chris Tucker, all right? And then you got Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, the Clintons, allegedly they getting ready to testify. Donald Trump, Joe Biden 10 times, all right, his son, uh, uh, the Clintons, the Bushes, all these devils was part of that, man. Hugh Hefner, you know what I'm saying? The members of Congress, the head of the FBI, all these motherfuckers are some sick weirdos, man. And we've been telling you that this man was a damn weirdo, so this ain't surprising, but the Most High is exposing his ass, man. Like the Lord said he was going to do. All right? So anyway, let's go to the book of Luke. The book of Luke real quick. I think it's Luke 8. And get the precept on that. Because before the Lord bring this nigga down, he's going to expose this nigga as being the devil that he is, that you monkeys out there look up to. All right, see, Jake, they look up to Esau. They think the so-called white man can't do nothing wrong. But hey, the Lord is showing you that this man is a devil. All right, you Jakes were deceived by a smooth face and a tie in some proper speech and thought he could do nothing wrong. And this is the same nigga that your woman Keisha is chasing after, raping babies and all. Hey, but him and Keisha is a match made in heaven and hell, because Keisha unalives our babies more than anybody else. So, I mean, hell, the black woman was a big part of the Epstein, if you ask me. But this is Luke 8:17. It says, "For nothing in secret that should not be made manifest, neither anything hid that should not be known and come abroad." All right? So that's the point. Everything is going to be brought to the surface, man. Okay, you even see it in Israel with a lot of these dudes. You have Al-Azhar that got on there yesterday and talking about, you know, how guys are doing this and that behind closed doors, and he's trying to shave the attention off himself because he got caught up in that scandal with the Edomite and his wife, talking about he didn't break no laws. Bro, you conspired to break laws, and the fact about it is, just because we didn't see what you did, that don't mean that you didn't do it. All right, you ordered a pagan kid, bro. You wanted a man to bang out your wife. That's adultery, my dude. You know, and you're trying to take the light off yourself, but you know, you ain't the only one. We already told you that them guys was a bunch of freaks, and I won't be surprised if these dudes are doing left hand rituals too. All right, you might fuck around and see Al-Azhar in the damn files, since he's the top Hebrew of the year. I'm joking, but still, don't be surprised. Anyway, Mark 4, and I'm gonna start at verses. What we at? Yep, Mark 4:21. It says, "And he said it to him, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick? It says, for there is nothing hid which should not be manifested, neither was there anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad." So the Most High is just bringing this man down. He's showing him how the base he really is, and he's showing the true colors of this devil. Okay, it doesn't surprise us. I mean, shit, how the hell you think these celebrities get these big breaks in movies and then you get these $400 million contracts? How the hell you think Tom Cruise is worth $500 million? Because he's a good actor? You know, and he believes in Scientology? No, it's because he's a degenerate, man. Same thing with Oprah Winfrey, her handler. Okay, all these big celebrities, Harvey Weinstein, all these devils are in on this. So if Trump go down, if he's the devil that I think he is, then he's going to start releasing names, man. And if they suspect him going to snitch and start dropping names, especially names of the elites like the bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, you know, the men that own the banks and run the economy behind the curtain. If he start dropping those names, which would not be in the files, but if he start dropping those names and giving out some strict handlers, they'll assassinate him before he can make it to trial. So if he comes up dead because they think he's going to talk, then this is probably why. All right? Not saying they're going to assassinate him, but who knows, man, with this devil. But this is the book of Habakkuk 2. And I'm going to start at verses 15. It says, "Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, and that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also." Yeah, and wicked philosophies. Okay, you got Jake operating in a degenerate manner because they want to be something in society. You know, like look at what they did to Kobe Bryant. Allegedly, he's dead, sacrificed, because he was part of that world. Michael Jordan's father. Name a couple of more celebrities, man. You know, young Dolph, even though, you know, Dolph was a low level, I wouldn't suspect him to be no Epstein shit. He's too low level. But the point is, You know, when you take backdoor deals, then you got to pay the price. Okay, Satan requires a blood sacrifice. And right now, there's no coincidence that all this stuff is coming out because they want you to be distracted because they're doing something. But, you know, nobody's getting locked up. Trump can be in there face value and caught on camera freaking off, which nobody's surprised. I mean, you people ain't going to do shit. What you're going to do is go on Twitter or X or TikTok or, you know, the new social media site, and you just going to complain and talk shit and get censored and go back to working your damn jobs and pay taxes. You ain't going to do nothing, man. All right, you ain't going on no damn witch hunt. You ain't going after the elites, and you ain't going to do shit. You ain't going to do nothing until they take your money, your resources, and your food and your television away. That's when you people going to start to do something. And then you're going to be met with extreme adversity in the form of an AI army that's going to eviscerate you people. Okay, you people ain't going to do shit. Oh, the Epstein, release the Epstein files. Hell, this man's been talking cash shit to you people and taking your rights right in front of your face, and you ain't doing nothing about it. So you think a devil like him being in the files, you think y'all ain't going to do shit. You know, you just talking. You ain't rose up at this time, so you ain't going to fucking rouse up. But it says that also that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Yeah, they nakedness, man. The Lord is exposing Esau. He's showing you the freak of nature that he really is. Okay, he was never civilized. It was just that was a ploy. Okay, that was token. He was learned how to be civilized by Jake. But he was never civilized, man. You take off the suit and tie, he's back to being a devil. Plotting, scheming. Makes sense to all them kids that was missing on back of the milk carton in the 90s. Yeah, what do you think they had? They was flown over to Epstein's Island, man. Trafficked by the CIA, the FBI, and the cartel, which the FBI and the cartel the CIA and the FBI, they pay the cartel to go and grab these people up. And they showed you that in that movie that came out 2 years ago. It's called, what's the name of that damn movie? But that dude that played in Passion of the Christ, Jim Caviezel, he basically played, it was based on a real story on how the cartel was trafficking people, and he basically was catching on to it, and he investigated it and found some people, and it was based on an alleged true story, you know. But the guy that played him is actually part of the satanic cabal. The guy they gave you to play JC is part of the satanic cabal. Ain't that some shit? I think it's called a sound of freedom or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, it says, thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskins be uncovered. Yeah, he's been exposed, man. It says, the cup of the Lord's right hand should be turned to thee, and shameful spewing should be upon thy glory. So when people look at Esau, before he's brought down to the dust where he belongs, the world is going to find out that he's nothing but a beast. Okay, he's a vile man. He's a base man. All right, he ain't the superstar who Keisha believes he to be. He's the basest man. Okay, he's base, he's vile, he's a little man. You know?
Oh, I think it was, I don't know if he was accusing both Bushes or just the older Bush, but okay, bizarre. But I want to bring your attention to this. This was an old video. This is of a model, Gabriela Rico Jimenez. And in 2009, 21-year-old model Gabriela Rico Jimenez, who was reportedly at a elite event in Monterrey, Mexico, was recorded on camera freaking out. Okay, and I'm going to show you the video. She's making statements including.
Oh, they talking about that dude Pusha T was on there too, and I think DJ Academic was had a podcast, and he was speaking on what's this guy's name? I just mentioned Pusha T being over there having orgies and shit, and then Jay-Z name came up, which just doesn't surprise me. Okay, Jay-Z is in that billionaire club. Why do you think he ain't been indicated in nothing? He's damn near like the baby Michael Jordan. You don't really hear too much about him, but he's in suspended animation somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Getting his billions, just like MJ. Don't be surprised if MJ name is on there too.
They eat, they were eating humans. And so she was going on and on saying they're eating humans. And this was at this elite event that she went to. They said, well, she just seems to have mental health issues. But now with these other accusations coming out in the Epstein files, accusations of people eating people, let's just go ahead and take another look at this video.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Quieren saber
too, man, a lot of these chicks too, like they promising model careers and stuff. A lot of them, these chicks are bride, but a lot of these chicks ain't innocent either. You know, especially the ones that was up in age. Nah, the young girls, the 14, 15-year-olds, you know, they got coerced. You know, told them they was gonna be models and you know they was gonna operate with a lot of money. But a lot of these hoes, man, like with the whole Diddy shit, a lot of these bitches knew what they was going over there to do. They knew they was freaking off and doing this and that because there was money involved. And he told them like, look, man, this is the deal. We're gonna get freaky, we gonna get nasty. There will be baby oil involved, but I'm gonna cut you off $1 million. And a lot of these bitches, they gonna go because a lot of these women are fucking freaks too, man. Okay, everybody want to make these women so goddamn innocent. It was a lot of women that was behind it. Look at Ghislaine, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. She's a small hat. And I think her father was like I forgot what her father was, but he was like some type of notable man. I don't know, in government or some shit, but he was, you know, he was up there. So a lot of these women, they ain't innocent, man. You know, like her, like prime example. I don't really know this lady, but it doesn't surprise me if they say, well, look, come on, you get on a yacht in a private plane with rich Edomite men. You already know what's finna go down. You know they gonna pay you, and you know you finna go over there and bust it down. And then all of a sudden you want to act brand new and shit come out. A lot of these older women was with that shit. Like with the Diddy, Cassie, them hoes was with that shit, man. Okay, we sick of you people trying to make these women all fucking innocent. These women are bigger degenerates than the men. You know, now we ain't talking about the ones they kidnapped and by force and coerced them, you know, because a child, a 12-year-old, they don't know what the fuck going on, man. You know? But a lot of these little 14, 15-year-old little hoes out here, they'll go over there and bust it down for some change. And they don't, because they hoes anyway. You know? You got Jake making a big deal over these, look, these 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, they're fucking around. They're sleeping with men, all right? They're sleeping with older men. I know that for a fact because when I was 14 years old, the girl I had a crush on was hopping in a nigga 22, 23 years old. I'm at the bus stop. He's hopping out of a Regal on 22s and he's fucking the girl I got a crush on. So don't tell me that these young women are just so innocent. You know, when you hit the age of 12, 13, 14, that's when your puberty starts naturally. That's when your body starts to make changes. That's when you start to get those gushy feelings. I know that because I was that age. And I was liking women at a very young age. When I was 10, 11 years old, I liked women. I liked women before that. So in the elite's mind, because they understood how things were, they like, well, yeah, they're young, but what are we doing wrong? I mean, biblically, they can have young women, but it was the way they went about doing it, you know, poisoning and blood magic and just abusing people. That shit is off as hell, man. But see, the elites, they operate on a whole different mantra from you people. You people are low level. You goyim. You know, Esau, he deals with little fucking boys, 12-year-old boy. And honestly, Esau likes the boys better than the girls, man. But in back of the elite's mind, they're like, ain't shit wrong if you get a 15, 16-year-old girl. Because they know that a woman becomes a woman at the age of 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. They understand that, you know. But nonetheless, what they did was wicked because that's off. Rituals, sacrifices, that shit is wicked as hell, man. You know, grabbing up them, putting them blindfold them, telling them, that's wicked, man. You know?
Sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! Fuera la carne humana.
Okay. So she's saying they eat humans. They eat humans. Yes, I knew about the murders, but now they're eating humans after she went to an elite party. It gets weirder. Nicki Minaj then tweets this out, and she says, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries.
Yeah, she's talking about herself. Her, Wayne, Birdman, you know, those some niggas, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, what's the other chick name? Rihanna, she's worth more than damn near Beyonce, I think. But yeah, Rihanna, all they ass is part of this shit. Drake, you know, all of them had done some shit. They got something called the casting couch. You know, so yeah, Jay-Z is not, but Denzel Washington, okay, Tom Hanks, the Tom Cruise, you know, all these top notable actors, man. I mentioned Chris Tucker already. Man, please. Daniel 4, and I'm going to start at verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and in the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rooted in the kingdom of men and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it over it the basis of men." Okay, and the basis of men. The basis of man is the lowest man. Okay, the Lord called this man a profane. He's profane. Hebrews 12 and 16. And it reads, it says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who won for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected." No Edomite's going to be saved, bro. It says, "For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears." Okay, but it said he was profane. Peep this. Where the hell did it go? Profane. Let's look up the word profane. Goes into biblos, which means accessible, lawful to be trodden of places, profane, unhallow, men ungodly. Yeah, Esau is ungodly. He's the devil. We've been warning y'all about this. The prophets always spoke and told you, secular, irrelevant, devoted to that which is not sacred. Yeah, it's profane, man. He's insignificant. Yet he's doing a lot of wickedness.
And mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their God. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. Who is she talking about? I mean, she says your favorite artist has been practicing rituals. Is she talking about somebody specifically, or is she just saying probably your favorite artist because chances are high, and that they're all basically a part of a satanic cult? People have been pointing out for a long time that these concerts from a variety of different artists tend to have symbols that are known inside of satanic circles. So it's bizarre. I mean, it sounds really, really insane. Sounds completely nutty. But I don't know. I mean, weirder things have happened in the world, I guess. People do weird things. I mean, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to wrap my mind around this as being real. It just sounds like, okay, yeah, these are mentally ill people making claims. But I don't know. I mean, what if it is real? And then here we are just acting like, wow, that can't possibly be real. I mean, this kind of stuff has happened. We have documented instances of children sacrifices. That has happened throughout history in many cultures many times over, where children were sacrificed for gods, or cannibalism. I mean, these things have happened. So, I mean, we can't really just discard it and say, well, no, it can't be possible. I mean, why not? Why can't it be possible? I don't know. Here's another claim inside of the Epstein files that was quite interesting. A guard claimed that Epstein was smuggled out before his death. A lot of people have said the dead body that we saw, which, by the way, it's weird we even saw a dead body. They leaked the picture of Epstein after he was found dead. When else do you see that? I mean, we don't really ever see that. So it's almost like they wanted us to see it. So maybe there's more legitimacy to this claim than not.
Well, it's blackmail. I mean, they blackmail him. They blackmail. See, and what he said in training day, he said, for anybody to trust you, they got to have a little dirt on you. So, like, even with the Skull and Bones Society, like, a lot of times they do rituals. And Bush, he was part of Skull and Bones, which is a secret society, I think at Columbia, well, I think it's Yale University, no, Columbia, one of those, Harvard's, Columbia's, one of those top three, Princeton, I think. But regardless of that, Denzel said it. He said, if anybody got to trust you, got to have a little dirt on you to trust you. Meaning that they got to have you on camera, they have secret cameras of you doing shit. So when it comes to blackmail you, in order for you to do their bidding, they'll blackmail you. And you'll lose credibility with the public, because if you don't have public opinion on your side, that's the worst type of humiliation. When you get outed by the public, everybody wants to kill you based on narratives, whether it be true or false. Hell, you go into to history. Nero killed himself because he didn't have public opinion anymore. Killed himself, man. And the fact that this is coming out on Trump, he's saying, oh, this is a Democratic-led hoax, all this, that. Motherfucker, you and Epstein were close. You were buddies. And we told y'all this. Trump is a pedo, right along with Joe Biden, man. Biden, all of them. But you couldn't tell the nigga woman Kamala or Biden or Obama was part of that shit. You can't be saying that about them. They be helping black people. Yeah, okay. Obama ain't done nothing for you ninjas, man. But tax you to death and gave a white man more power over you. And a lot of the legislation that they're implementing now was through the Obama's administration, man. So, how about that? Let's go here. It's the Book of Wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon 12. I think it's 12. 12, because Jake learned this from them Hamites, man, and Esau learned it from them Hamites too. Them Hamites were the top devils at a point in time. You know, going back to Nimrod, and then when they set up the kingdoms in Mesopotamia, you know, and took over the world at that particular time, the Tower of Babel. You know, and they building the tower to their power, to commemorate their powers. But it reads here, it says, "For thy incorruptible spirit is in all things." It says, "Therefore chasten thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended, and leaving their wickedness, that they may believe in thee, O Lord." So that's the reason why the prophets have been set up, okay, to correct our people so they can repent and come back to the Heavenly Father and escape judgment. You know, but Jake, look at us like, who the hell are you, make us rule over us? You know, Jake don't like to receive correction from their own people, because ultimately, you know, Jake think they're better than everybody. But it says, "For it was by thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land." Going into those Hamites, man. All right. And Jake too, because the Most High, he had to kick Jake out of Israel, according to Baruch 4. But it says, "Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices." And that's what these parties are, freak-offs. Hell, we was bringing this out about the Bohemian Grove years ago, that these elites go there and freak off and run butt-ass naked, you know, feasting on kids and so forth. This is a real thing, man. I don't know why people think that this is such an upright and just world. This is a wicked, dark, satanic world, and the rulers of it fit that. They're just that. They're dark and they're satanic. They're evil. Okay, all of them are fucking crooked. That's why when you go to court, I don't know why Jake be expecting to get the justice in court. The courts, the judges, they all are in on it, man. Your top lawyers, your judges, your prosecuting attorneys, they are all corrupted, man. Essentially, so if you a Jake in this society, that's why the Lord told us, man, to stay low key. Because if you a Jake and you get caught up in some shit, you're not finna get a fair trial here. I think Jake catch strays in the child support court, bro. I mean, they violate all types of constitutional laws in there. Hell, even in a criminal court, you're guilty before proven innocent. Because according to the law, you're supposed to have at least 2 or 3 witnesses, unless you caught in the act and somebody say, "I saw you do it," and then they got to bring forth the proof that you did it, because it's always his word against your word. But in this system, if you say somebody did it, they'll come and arrest you off hearsay. That's wicked. You can't just lock somebody up if a woman decides to run her head up against a cabinet door because she's mad at you because you stayed out with the homies at the bowling alley at 9:30, and she goes and split her wig on a damn cabinet door or a freezer door, and then she called the cops and say you hit her. They'll come and put an APB on you and fucking arrest you, man, over a lie that she said. And then you'll fucking go to jail. Now you got to prove your innocence. Now you got to hire a lawyer to get out of a domestic violence situation that she lied to you about with no proof. That's why this place is wicked, bro. This shit is a trap, man. You got to get out of here. This is wickedness, man. It says, "Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifice." That's what those parties are. Feast of blood. All right. And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's flesh. Hey, they were eating people, man. They said they was eating the baby's intestines with feces in it, bro. Like, what? That's crazy work, man. Esau is the devil that the Bible talks about. And you got black devils that's right along with him. You got a lot of black devils right in this truth, man. It says, "In those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of thy idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help." Okay, and then the crazy part about it is a lot of these parents sealed their kids into these slavery rings, man. Like what's his dude's name? Joe Jackson. Hey, look at how he did Michael and them, bro. His father was his handler and sold him off to those small hats, man. That happens a lot. A lot of times, like when the parents are involved in the kid's career and they want to make that money, they'll sell their kids to the cabal. They're like, yeah, you know, this is the contract. We're going to pay you X amount. He's going to grow up and be, because they groom you from a child. Like the whole Macaulay Culkin, you know, they groom that nigga from a child. Now look at him. Dude look like Stuart Little. Grown version of Stuart Little, a rat version, man. Through, drugged out, peeled out, man. Nigga through, man. Nigga look like Randy Hemphill and shit. Play a little bit more. We'll end it.
Because we do have a picture of Epstein, and then people were pointing out, that doesn't look like Epstein, and I'll show you those photos. But this individual anonymously posted on 4chan the morning of Epstein's death, August 10th, 2019, claiming he witnessed weird happenings at the prison before Epstein's death had been identified, and now he's been identified in the Epstein files. So it turns out that this guard is Roberto Grijalva. He's an officer at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. He has been identified as the anonymous prison employee who posted on 4chan claiming Epstein left his cell Friday evening shackled in a medical wheelchair, while at the same time an unauthorized trip van arrived at the prison, which he believed took Epstein away the night before news broke of his death. Both parties want you to believe they're working for the people, but let's be honest, Washington is bought and paid for. Big corporations in Wall Street get bailed out, while working Americans get left with higher prices, shrinking savings, and endless promises that never materialize. The system is corrupt, and when it breaks, they won't be the ones paying the price. We will. That's why I put my trust in something outside of their control. Physical gold and silver from American Hartford Gold. Today. So he was claiming, I saw the guy, they took him out of here. Weird things were going on. And, then they ended up saying, well, nobody really believed this guy, but let's just go ahead and look at the pictures of Epstein. He's saying that Epstein, so this is the picture that leaked. And when we saw this, people were like, oh, yep, he's dead. There he is. But then people pointed out, that doesn't even look like him. And here's a side-by-side. Now, this is a picture of Jeffrey Epstein alive.
I don't think the nigga dead. I said for 5 years that he wasn't dead. It was a body doubles. I said that. It is nothing but a Hollywood movie prop. They do body doubles all the time. Look at movies. It's nothing for them to manipulate a set and put somebody out there. I don't think that nigga dead. All right, they playing in you people's face. Allegedly, they got him out the back door.
It's been turned sideways. But you can see here the nose. People are pointing out that the nose shapes are different. One nose goes down. The dead guy's nose goes down. And Epstein's nose actually has a straight, his nose is straight and doesn't curve down. The nostrils are different. Many people pointed to the ears being different. Here, let me show you the ears. That just the shape of the ears are different. And now that we know who this guard is, this anonymous posting, and now that this has come out in the Epstein files of who it is, I don't know. Do you put more believability into it? You can't really discount the fact that the nose does look different and the ears do look different.
It's Lakia, brothers, for the noise. It's my morning oats, my smoothies and shit. The Manuka honey and the creatine and all that, When you come off like in the morning, it's good to eat fruit and smoothies and shit. You don't never want to. Some people do, but I try not to eat no big ass breakfast in the morning. Like, depends on what time I stop eating at night. I used to try to stop eating around 7 o'clock, unless it's like a weekend, unless I'm just late. But I try to, my cutoff time of eating be like between 5 and 7 most days. And I ate like around 7 o'clock last night. So what time is it? 9. So yeah, you brothers start doing intermittent fasts. Keep your cells hydrated, keep your metabolism up. Because hey, you gotta do something. Shit, it's the only body you got. Gotta take care of it. Put the right shit in it. Leave all this processed food alone, because it will put you in the spirit world. But anyway, slack you for the noise. But
then you'd think that where would he go? You can't go anywhere in the world without people. I mean, how do you fake your death like that, and where do you go? And then what? I guess they would give you a lot of plastic surgery at that point and change your appearance entirely. I mean, that's what would happen, right? I would think so. Here's another claim inside of the Epstein files that Epstein is Mossad. This is what these letters say. CHS, remember, Dershowitz tells Alex Acosta that Epstein belonged to both U.S. and Allied intelligence services. CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein, during which they took notes. After these calls,
most people enter 2026 asking AI random questions like, it's Google. Here's the smarter way to start. Watch this.
Что хотят, то и делают. Что здесь хочется сказать? Взрослые люди имеют право жить, как хотят. Мы к этому так и относились в России, и всегда к этому будем так относиться. Никто в частную жизнь не вторгается, и мы не собираемся этого делать. Но хочется им сказать, ну посмотрите, извините меня, Священное Писание, главные книги.
His ass was in there too. They mentioned that Gates was getting harlots out of Russia. I mean, y'all think Putin ain't Jew stand too? You tripping. Even though, through the spirit, he may be the man that leads destruction against this place. But all these motherfuckers are Jew stand, bro. Don't let that good cop, bad cop stuff fool y'all. These people wicked as hell.
Всех других мировых религий. Там все сказано. В том числе то, что семья – это союз
Putin got a lot of bodies, but I would think he had a little bit more integrity than that.
мужчины и женщины. Но и эти.
Also breaking today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche announcing the release of millions more files related to Jeffrey Epstein.
The Justice Department released so many records from the Epstein files today, more than 3 million pages, plus
The new nominee chairman for the Fed, he was in there.
videos and photos that if you were to print them out and stack them up, they'd be about 3 times taller than the Statue of Liberty. Along with a team of journalists, Ed O'Keefe is going through all of that tonight to see what's revealed about the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The categories of documents withheld include those permitted under the Act to be withheld. Files that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Although the Act allows for withholding for items necessary to keep secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy, no files are being withheld or redacted on that basis.
Actually, you're not exaggerating when you say millions. More than 3 million pages are now being posted to the Justice Department website. This includes more than 2,000 videos and
Look at these people. Just look how evil. Just look at their spirit. Their spirits are all. This man is a fucking imposter. He don't belong in power. One more precept. I'll end it. Job 30. In 1, and it reads, it says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Esau believes in bestiality, man. Yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For one in famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times. It says former times, desolate and waste, who cut up marrows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men, and they cried out to him as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. It says, among the bushes they brayed, and under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now I am their song, yeah, I am their byword. But these are the same people that's accusing us to Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. All that dirt on them, and the Lord is looking. That's why the Lord said that he should have them in derision. He that in heaven shall laugh and have them in derision and vex them in his sore displeasure. The Lord is looking at this dude like, man, you got some fucking nerve. trying to accuse my people of wickedness when you out here grabbing up babies and murdering babies and witchcraft and committing all types of genocide. The Lord is going to smoke you fucking devils, man. And I can't wait. But with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord's will, you edify to the next lesson. Shalom.
180,000 images. The Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche took multiple questions on the files released today and said most of the videos are commercial. Not all videos featuring Jeffrey Epstein or shot by Jeffrey Epstein. Blanche says medical records, images that may show harm toward children, and any sort of physical abuse were not released publicly. Some of the names mentioned in the files dumped today: Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Steve Bannon. Again, not much context when names are released. Important to point that out, and we've not seen evidence that anything was criminal between those men. Now, context is key.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
But there's not been a lot of context. Some of the communications from Epstein are none too kind to this man, President Trump. The two knew each other back in the 90s in Palm Beach and are pictured together numerous times over the years. Today's document release includes Trump's name many times, but there is a note that says some of the claims were submitted to the FBI before the 2020 election, and of the documents released thus far, none have anything criminally damaging involving President Trump.
The files reveal hundreds of references to President Trump, who's never been charged with any wrongdoing.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello. Some describe allegations referencing underage women. Others detail parties allegedly held at the president's Mar-a-Lago estate. A 2012 email details the possibility of Epstein going to Mar-a-Lago after Christmas. That's several years after Trump claims he and Epstein ended their friendship.
I haven't spoken to him in probably 15 years or more.
In a 2016 deposition, Epstein is asked several questions about former President Bill Clinton flying on his jet and whether he was accompanied by two young women. Epstein answered fifth to each question. Clinton has denied any wrongdoing. In another email, Epstein writes about helping Microsoft founder Bill Gates to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of with Russian girls. Gates' ex-wife told CBS News her then-husband's relationship with Epstein played a role in their divorce. Epstein, in an exchange with Elon Musk, discusses sending his helicopter to take him to his island. Musk asking what day, night, will be the wildest party. Danny Bensky, who said she was abused by Epstein in 2004 at age 17, believes the Justice Department is withholding information.
So I think that the release right now is being sold as transparency, and it is not transparent at all. I think it 100% protects the perpetrator.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
We didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents.
A spokesperson for Bill Gates called the claims against him completely false. No comment yet from Elon Musk. The White House says the documents include sensationalist claims against the president, and the Justice Department